All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Warren Wong. I'm one of the evangelists for the Zoho Corporation, and with us we have Raju, our chief evangelist, and we have a number of our technical team and product team from tuned in live from Chennai, India. And we welcome you to today's webinar. It is 9 o'clock in sunny California on Wednesday, and we're very excited for our Zoho Docs launch for desktop. So first off, again, we have a number of our technical team here, and we're open to any and all of your questions. So feel free to raise any questions throughout the presentation through the chat box. And we also have a more formal Q&A session at the end as well. So feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation via chat. And this will also be available in a recorded format. So in case you have to leave for some pressing engagement, you can always tune back into our presentation and also use that to show to any of your fellow teammates in your organization. All right, so with that, let's get started. So we're very excited for the Zoho Docs launch for desktop. And here again is the agenda. So we're going to just show you a quick overview of what this product update is. We'll do a live demonstration with a couple different scenarios that would pertain to your businesses, and we're going to have Q&A as well. So Zoho Docs is one of our most popular business apps, and essentially it's a document management system for businesses. And we've really designed it to be a full office suite. So we know that you need many different pieces of software to run your company, and we just want to make it as easy as possible and have the benefit of having everything be on the cloud. We want to be a one-stop shop for your word processor needs, spreadsheet needs, presentation needs, and we want to make this easy for your company to be used for sharing options.
And if you look at the market today, there are a good number of applications for the document management, and a good percentage of them are really focused on consumer use. And with Zoho Docs, we really optimized it, or at least we started focusing on the business use, which means the requirements for a consumer are definitely different from the requirements for a business. So we keep that in mind, and we develop all the important features in Zoho Docs. And you'll notice that with the Office suite, you'll notice that we don't run any ads in our applications. You notice that we have multiple flexible sharing options within the application, because generally when you're working with multiple colleagues, well, you're not just sharing an entire document. You may want to give some restricted access to a certain set of people based on their role, and in some cases you may want to publish your document within the entire business and not the outside world. We provide all those various sharing options within the application. So that is what we mean by optimizing the application for business use. And that also comes to the admin functionality. In the consumer world, you won't worry about administrative functionality for your document management, but in the business world, you do. So which means you as an administrator for your organization basically need complete visibility on whatever is going on with in your organization. So that obviously means the access controls has to be in place, and if someone has access to a document, you need to make sure that it is completely audited and there is an audit log available for everything. And you as an administrator should be able to provide some specific functions through a certain restricted IP addresses, for example, where you want your users to be logged into your application only from your office or home or any of those. All those restrictions or the flexibility and the options are available in Zoho Docs, with ability to manage storage options as well. So end of the day, again, the core part, the core takeaway from Zoho Docs is ability to directly optimize it for businesses. So Zoho Docs is really optimized for businesses, and we are committed towards that. And all the features that you see being added to the Zoho Docs application are squarely aimed towards that goal.
Great, thank you, Raju. So as you know, Zoho Docs integrates with many of our other popular apps, from Mail to CRM to Campaigns to Pulse, Projects, and any of the other 24 applications. So we're really happy to make sure it's easy to use as an entire business suite. Great. So our latest update to Zoho Docs is the addition to have it on your desktop. And what that means is we've made it easy to synchronize between the cloud and your localized file, a folder on your desktop. And then the great plus side, as Raju mentioned earlier, is that you can select what you want to sync and maintain that access. And we've made it easy, so whether you're on a Windows computer, Mac, or Linux, you can use Zoho Docs for desktop.
And again, this is one of the requirements and one of the requests from our customers, that is you guys, where you requested the ability to synchronize the documents, again, offline access, so that you have all your documents wherever you go. And so we have been working on it for a while, and we're now happy with the quality of the product. And we like the roadmap. We like the value that we can bring out there. There are a bunch of synchronization solutions available in the market. But again, we bring that business context and the business focus there. And you will see that in the future with upcoming updates.
Great. And then one of the big features is the ability to work offline. So as Raju alluded to, we've made it easy to access your files from your sync desktop folder. And with that, you can use any offline editors to edit documents. And then those changes, once you go back online, will be reflected throughout the other multiple computers that you're synced with. And that way you have the same version floating both between the cloud and your local folder. Great. And then Zoho Docs also makes this easy for your team. So we've made the ability to sync your workspaces so you can have access to the same business collateral, whether it's documents, presentations, spreadsheets, and just have easy access to that. And you can select which workspace you want to sync, and we'll demonstrate that in the demo. And again, you get to make sure everyone has the latest version of any item.
And that workspaces is another business-specific feature that many of our users do use, where you create a workspace, invite the right people, provide them the right access, and just keep adding documents, and everyone will have access to the same documents. So that's one of the most used features within Zoho Docs, and we are now bringing that functionality to sync as well, where all the documents within your workspaces are now synchronized to your desktop as well.
Great. And then workspaces can be unique to different departments, different teams, different projects. So it's unique and flexible to meet your business needs.
And it is not restricted to just your company. So you could have 3 members from your company as part of the workspace, and maybe invite 2 of your partners or maybe another vendor into the workspace, and you all collaborate on the documents. So you can view them, edit them, share them, modify them. You have a single copy of all your documents in a central repository.
And then same goes for your customers. So if you want it to be customer specific, this is a great way to do that. Great. So we've made it really easy to share large files. We know that for many users, including ourselves, we don't like dealing with attachments and dealing with file size limits and all the different hang-ups related to that. So we've just made it easy for our users to share large files. So we're talking something in the neighborhood between 2 and 5 gigabytes, depending which pricing structure you go with.
And I mean, if you're used to sharing large files, you notice the pain. You try to upload a large file online, and it takes forever. Imagine uploading maybe a 5 gig file, and it kind of takes forever to even upload. That's where, again, Zoho Docs for desktop really helps, where you just drag the file onto the sync folder, and it will take care of uploading it at the background. It will maintain the sessions and all of that. So you don't have to be sitting in front of the browser watching the progress bar move along. So it's a nice feature, again, especially for if you're uploading larger files to share with your partners or customers. So with that, we'll jump into the demo. Again, we just wanted to provide you a brief overview of the application of what we launched, but we want to spend more time showing you what it looks like, how it works, and then we'll open it up for Q&A, where we would like to discuss and hear from you on what you think about the feature and what you would like to see in the future. So with that, let's jump and let's get into the product.
Perfect. And if you're just joining our call, this will be available in a recorded format, so you can review at your leisure and share with any of your team members as well. And if you have any questions right now, feel free to ask away in our chat box, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. And again, we will have our formal Q&A at the end of the demo. All right, great. So if you like what you've seen so far and you say, great, I want to try out Zoho Docs for desktop, so what you do is just sign in to Zoho, go to docs.zoho.com, and you'll see on the bottom left, we have a simple icon for Get Zoho Docs, and then that will be tailored to your exact platform. So for me, I'm on the Mac, and what I'll do is I'll just click that. It's going to send me to our default page for just a quick explanation of Zoho Docs for desktop. And if you scroll down to number 2, we have the actual download file. So that's going to be available for, again, Windows, for Mac, for Linux. And the download file ranges between 10 and 20 megabytes, depending which platform you're going with. So I'm going to download the Mac version. And we know that's starting here. And just to save a little time, I have one file ready already. And we're just going to use that right here. So again, just to recap, to install Zoho Docs is very simple. We're just going to go to Zoho Docs, and you're going to go to the bottom left and click this link here. All right, perfect. And then this will pop up on your saved on your computer, and we'll double click that, and then we get prompt the installer. So I'm just going to install that here on my Mac.
So the application is installed. So it's, again, on a Mac, it's pretty straightforward. You basically drag the Zoho Docs desktop application to the applications folder, and when you double click on the applications folder, you will notice the Zoho Docs right there. And when you open the application, you'll immediately be prompted to enter your Zoho Docs credentials. So installation is pretty straightforward. And again, this installation varies based on the platform you're on. And again, the standard procedures, there's nothing specific there. And once you have the application installed, you basically log in with your Zoho credentials. If you don't have a Zoho account, obviously you can create one, but you can obviously, because you downloaded it from your Zoho Docs account, assuming that you have a Zoho account, so you can just directly enter your credentials and get in.
All right, great. So once we sign in, let's talk about a couple different options that pop up immediately. First off, on our status bar on the top here, we see that we have the Zoho Docs icon established here. And this will be a great way to tell the status of any of our syncs. And right now it's still in the connecting phase because we're setting up the actual options. So once we get that signed, get all this customized, we're going to see this reflect as sync is complete, or it is searching or scanning for changes, and we're going to go through that. So once you sign in, we see two options here. We see something about a Zoho Docs folder and something about sync options. So what Zoho Docs folder is this is the localized Zoho Docs folder on your actual computer. And we're going to set that up in terms of its location. And we recommend that you use the documents directory for that. So we're going to choose this, and this will create a Zoho Docs folder within Documents. And in that way, we can click and drag any folders, any files, and that way it's easily synced. And then for sync options, this manages what files and folders from the cloud that you want synced with your Zoho Docs for desktop. So the first option is the simple one, which is sync all files and folders. So if you want this really simple, you don't want to think about it, you want to know that everything's available, localized for you, just click this option. If you have maybe more of a smorgasbord of different files and folders and you want to customize which ones get synced, select that option and it's going to populate all the folders. And then if you select workspaces, that's going to populate all your different workspaces. So on this test account, there's nothing set up yet. We're going to set that up once we get this all done. So for now, we're going to sync all files and folders for this demonstration. So again, to recap, Zoho Docs is your localized, your local Zoho Docs folder, and sync options manages which folders and workspaces get synced on the cloud. And then here we click next, and it prompts us on if this is the correct location for the local folder, and we like that, so let's click finish. And then immediately it's going to jump directly to Zoho Docs, and if you notice the actual file path, it's on our local hard drive on our local device, under our account, under documents, and here's Zoho Docs. Great, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you that here we have Zoho Docs, and we're also going to pull up Zoho Docs online, and that way we can see both locally and on the cloud the same syncs. All right. So let's go to our folders.
And this folders, what you see here in this folder section is basically the root folder that you see on the right, which is the Zoho Docs folder.
So the first scenario is once you have this set up, and let's say you don't have any folders established, let's just create some really easily. So let's create one on the cloud. Let's say the first one is business documents. So once that's done here, great. We see that it has synced successfully locally, and we have business documents on both sides. And notice on the status bar on the top, we have our Zoho Docs icon, and it says sync is complete, and we see a little check mark.
And you'll notice that the sync is instantaneous. So it's basically whenever, again, that is one of the advantages where we provide the sync client and we provide the web service as well. That makes it, that provides a good advantage for us where we can make it instantaneous. We have done some other integrations with third parties earlier, and there you'll notice some delay in such cases, but because Zoho provides the Zoho Docs, the desktop application as well as the web application, you will notice that the sync happens immediately.
Great. So we're going to do it from the other side. So let's say we create a file, we create a folder locally, and let's call that project files. Let's see if that syncs on the cloud side. Let's give that a quick second. Let's refresh. Great. So we have project files, and then our status icon on the top confirms that sync is complete. Great. So we know sync is complete. So that's the first scenario of just easily making folders.
And this works for subfolders as well.
Right.
So if you want to create multiple subfolders under the root folder, that seamlessly syncs between the web and the desktop. And in this case, we are just looking at the web version on one desktop, but you could be having maybe multiple desktop, maybe your desktop and your laptop syncing with the cloud. And even in such cases, the sync works seamlessly. And we don't have any restrictions on the number of systems, the number of desktops that you can sync with.
All right, perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drag a file into each of these folders, both through the web and also through our local Zoho Docs folder. So let's open up business documents, and we have no documents here at the moment. So what we're going to do is I have a file ready here. All right, so let's drag our hotcake business plan right here. It's going to prompt us to upload. Click OK. We'll have a quick notification that has been uploaded successfully. And let's check our status icon on the top. It's scanning for changes at the moment. And once it's done thinking, we'll notice that it has been synced across the entire Zoho Docs. Great, so it should be ready now with the check mark. Let's open up business documents. And great, we do have our hotcake business plan. Perfect.
And here you'll notice that again, it's the dragging between the desktop, that is, in this case, we dragged a simple file onto the Finder application, and it's synchronized with the desktop. And we also made it easy to upload files to the Zoho Docs web application as well. And I know some of you use the upload option that you see out there, but if you're using any of the modern browsers, you can easily upload files or multiple files just by dragging from your local system to the Zoho Docs web version. That's an easy way to just drag files. So uploading to Zoho Docs web version is also pretty straightforward.
Great. And let's say we want to drag a file to the local Zoho Docs folder, and we want to see that it syncs on the cloud end. So let's do that. Let's take our profit chart here, and we're going to drag it right here. And then we'll notice that Zoho Docs is scanning for changes, and it should reflect once it's done syncing. Give it a quick minute. Great, so it says it's complete. And let's just refresh here on Zoho Docs. Great, so we see we have our profit chart here. So we notice that we have a sync both on the cloud side and our local Zoho Docs. And then our status icon on the top confirms that sync is complete, so we have been successful in that. Great, so we've shown you how we can create a folder, how to drag files into both the cloud side and the local side. So let's look at making modifications on both sides. All right, so let's open up our hotcake business plan and take a look at what that is. All right, so we have our instant success business plan. Step 1, start a hotcake stand, and step 2, hope they sell like hotcakes. And then step 3, go to the bank. All right, so let's set up a step 4. What should it be? Let's see. Invite everyone to Margaritaville. All right, let's make that nice colors. Let's see. We'll just or let's see. And then change that to a nice bright orange. All right, perfect. So we've done this. Notice that, and this is Zoho Writer. And if you've used Zoho Writer a lot, and you notice that lately we've actually updated the user interface and made it much more streamlined and consistent. We've optimized many of the functions and the buttons that are very popular in usage. So we wanted to make Zoho Writer and our other editors more of a true Office suite and make that much easier. So if you like that UI, we've taken many different suggestions from our many users to get this updated. So we hope you like that as well. And right now, since we've made that change, on the top here, we see that it says, here's the autosave, and it's confirmed that the last save was just a minute ago. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to close this, and we want to see if that modification is reflected on our local file. All right. So, and our sync on the top, on the status icon says sync is complete. So let's open this up. And yes, step 4 is complete. That's great. All right, so we're going to do it from the other end. So we're going to update something on the local side, and then we want to see if it gets reflected on the cloud. So let's open this back up. And let's go to step 5. Review quarterly progress. All right, so now that that's done, let's close this. We note that the autosave just happened. So we're going to close this. That way, Zoho Docs knows that the change was done and it's going to update. So the status icon has now shown that sync is complete. So let's open that up on the cloud side, and let's see if step 5 is reflected. All right, perfect. So step 5 did get updated. So now we have shown you that both a modification locally or on the cloud is successful.
And if you noticed what we've gone through so far, we created a folder on the web first, and then we created a folder on the desktop, and they both synced. And then we uploaded a file to the web, and then we dragged the file to the local desktop, and you notice that they both sync. And the third step, we looked at opening those files, editing them on the web, and those changes sync locally and vice versa. So basically, all of these are seamless. Now, an important point to note here is if you are offline and if you don't have access to the web applications like Zoho Docs, the Writer Sheet, and Show, you can always maintain a copy of that in maybe other formats like an XLS format or a .doc format or a PPTX format, and use your local applications. So the applications, Zoho Docs does provide a neat feature where you can export a file in any of these formats, and you can keep a copy of that. And if you know that if you're going offline, you can just save that copy in one of the sync folders, and you can basically make changes to that document using maybe an MS Office or OpenOffice or any of the other third-party applications, and all the changes will be reflected and synced back to the online version. So that's an important point that I just wanted to mention. And you'll notice that for documents that are created in Zoho Docs, you will notice a specific extension, that is ZDoc, that is for documents created in Zoho Writer, ZSheet for spreadsheets created in Zoho Sheet, and ZShow for the presentations created in Zoho Show. These formats are editable in Zoho applications only. You can always save a different version of the document using other formats as well, but these are the default formats that are used within Zoho. Now, when you click on any of the files, either on the desktop or on the web, you will notice that these documents will open up in appropriate Zoho editors.
All right, great. So we've shown you that we can create a folder both locally and on the cloud. We can drag a file to each, and we can make modifications on all of that. So let's have another scenario. Let's say you received an email from someone, and it is attached with a document, and you want to have it upload into Zoho Docs. Let's say your question was, is there an easy way to do that? And fortunately, there is.
If you're a Zoho Mail user, you're probably taking advantage of that. So where you go to Zoho Mail, you receive an attachment, open up the attachment, and right there you see an option to view the document right there within Zoho Mail, or you can directly add that document to Zoho Docs with a single click. So let's try that. So choose the Add to Zoho Docs option, and it automatically presents you a dialog where you can choose the folder that you want to save this in. Select the option, and in this case, we'll pick a folder.
So let's say this is a specific project file, so we're going to upload that into project files. So it says Zoho Docs has uploaded successfully, and on the top, let's look at our Zoho Docs status, and the icon says it is scanning for changes. And let's wait for that to finish. All right, great. It says that it is complete. So let's go to Zoho Docs and see if that is reflected in project files. Great. So in project files on the cloud, it has uploaded successfully to the cloud side. And let's look at our local folder. And great. So we see that that PowerPoint presentation has also uploaded here successfully. All right, great. So we have another version of easy uploading, and we're going to show you that. So what you do is, let's say you have a large file and you just want to email it to yourself and have that automatically get uploaded. We have that option.
Or other option is you may be using, let's say, something like an Outlook or Gmail, for example. So you're a Gmail user and you receive an email from a colleague, and you want that file, the attachment that is part of that email, to be saved in Zoho Docs. Our Zoho Docs provides a nice little feature where you can email in the documents to Zoho Docs. It will automatically extract the attachment from that email and save that in Zoho Docs. So to do that, you have to email or forward the email with the attachment to a specific email address. And that, you can find that under the storage details. You can go to settings, storage details, and you'll find the email address to which you have to forward, and just copy that and use that to forward attachments to add it to your Zoho Docs account.
Great. So let's do that right now. Again, if you want to find that exact email, go to settings and then go to storage details, and there'll be a prompt right here on the bottom. Let's go back to Zoho Mail and let's compose an email. So we're going to paste that there. And you don't have to worry about a subject or a message body or any text. Just attach the exact file. So we're going to attach the vendor list that we have here. And let's click send. And then this might take a little longer. It's not quite as instant. There's a refresh rate that's every so minutes. So we're going to see it pop up eventually here in the next couple of minutes, but it won't be right away. So let's go on to the next part. Great. So let's go back to Zoho Docs. All right, so let's review all what we've just shown you in our demo. We've shown you how we can create folders both locally and on the cloud. You can drag files to each. You can modify from both your local Zoho Docs folder and the cloud. And we've shown you that we can add, if you're using Zoho Mail, you can easily add any attachment to Zoho Docs with the click of a button. And let's say you're not using Zoho Mail and you're using Outlook or Gmail or another third-party email. With that unique Zoho Docs email that is custom to each account, you can email attachments directly to that email, and it will automatically upload and sync across Zoho Docs for all your multiple computers and on the cloud. So we've made it easy for you to do that. And then to piggyback off our offline concept, a very common scenario is, let's say you're going on an airplane ride from the West Coast to the East Coast or vice versa, and you know you're going to be updating maybe your quarterly reports, and you need access to 2 spreadsheets and a Word document. So you can export those items. So click the actual item, click Actions, and you can export that into something that works for a third-party editor, whether that's OpenOffice or Word or TextEdit for Mac or even WordPerfect for Microsoft. You can use those options to still continue to work on your files, and as long as it's in Zoho Docs, once you get back online, your work will be synced with all the other different locations that Zoho Docs is part of. So we've made it easy for you to maximize your productivity both online and offline, whether it's with our editors or with third-party editors. And let's refresh right now to see if our email attachment has been uploaded. Oh, great. So we note that vendor list has been uploaded. And let's just go back here. Okay, it's going to be upload. It's going to be synced on the local side right now. It's scanning for changes. Give it a quick second.
And while that goes on, we have been getting some questions from some of you asking, are you planning to integrate with some of the other Zoho business applications like CRM? The answer is yes, that's the plan. And the differentiation between Zoho and some of the document management vendors out there is we provide not just the business apps, but also the document management applications, email, and all of that. And the goal is to provide a seamless integration between these applications. So it shouldn't matter which application your files are in. They should always be available on all devices and everywhere. And that is the goal. So which means we have to integrate this technology into our business apps, like something like a project management, something like Zoho CRM, and all of that. And if you noticed, we have done some integrations in the past with third-party vendors. So for example, we integrated Zoho projects with Zoho with Dropbox, where you can synchronize your documents you have in projects with Dropbox. Well, expect the same with the Zoho Docs for Desktop as well, where all your documents from the projects will be available on your desktop. The same technology is going to be extended to integrate with our business apps as well. Similarly, we're going to be extending that to our CRM application as well. These are some things that are high on our priority list. And of course, there are other things that are high on our priority list as well. We'll talk about that in a minute.
All right. Excuse me. All right, great. So let's check that document that we uploaded through the email option. Let's see. All right, great. So that vendor list did upload successfully. And let's see. Oh, not reflected locally. Okay, there's probably a little lag here. All right, great. So let's go back to our presentation. Great, so we've shown you that we have a instantaneous two-way file sync, and from our demonstration, I hope it shows that it's easy and flexible to use, and it works across multiple operating systems, and as Raju mentioned, it is fully integrated with the Zoho Office Suite and will be coming to our other very popular business apps in the near future. And then in terms of pricing, currently we have a 15-day trial, so if you already are a Zoho user, feel free to take advantage of that. And then as this is tailored to business, the pricing model is currently $5 per user per month, and that allows you 250 gigabytes of storage. And then if you wanted a larger storage capacity, then 1 terabyte is only $8 per user.
And these are some changes that we have made recently. And traditionally, we have been conservative on the storage, and we have focused a lot on the application and not necessarily on the storage part. Now we've changed that. So we want it to be extremely competitive when it comes to the storage, and that's the reason you will notice that the free edition is 5 GB per user. Remember, no ads and there's no catch there. And then there are 2 paid editions. One is $5 per user per month, and that is 250 GB, and each user gets 250 gigs of storage. And the next jump is $8 per user per month, and that is 1 TB, that is 1 terabyte. I'm sure some of us don't even have the hard drive size, especially if you enable sync. but that's the capacity that you get for every single user. And if you're looking at some of the competition out there with sync functionality, you're looking at something like $70 or $100 for 1 terabyte of storage, and that's the closest alternatives available. So we are going to be extremely competitive when it comes to offering storage space from here on, and we are going to be extremely aggressive when it comes to launching new features and adding things like the Zoho Docs for desktop and many others. So I just wanted to mention that we have some people asking us some questions on whether if 1 terabyte is for everyone in the organization or per user. No, it's not for everyone in the organization. This is per user. So yes, we are extremely aggressive when it comes to pricing.
And again, for free use, it is also free for individuals, and that's 5 gigabytes. So definitely take advantage of that as well. So what's next? We want to definitely make sure Zoho Docs has improvements to sync in terms of the interface and the functionality. And we definitely want to make sure we have more mobile support. So stay tuned for more updates on Zoho Docs for desktop, and we'll provide much more in this area.
So I want to add a couple of points here. One, going back to the pricing, currently Zoho Docs for desktop is available for paid users. The reason is pretty straightforward, because we just want to slowly scale it up. We want to make sure that the application works seamlessly because we have recently introduced. We want to make sure that there are no surprises on the data center infrastructure side and all of that. But as we move along, we plan to make it available for free users as well. But currently it's available for paid users. We don't have any specific timeline on when we'll be making it available for the free users, but that certainly is on the roadmap, and that is certainly on top of the list for us. And talking about what's next, the focus will continue to be on improving the sync functionality. We know that there are other things that we can do to improve the application, and some of you, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to send us an email. But we'll be happy to include your feedback there as well. But the most important thing, the one that is on top of our list, is mobile support. We want to make the sync work across mobile devices. There'll be 2 operating systems we'll be supporting it on, iOS and Android. That obviously includes tablets and smartphones. We don't have any timeline for these, but basically that is the topmost priority for us. And first we wanted to launch and make sure that everything works on the desktop, and there are no issues with that, everything is seamless, and then we're going to be offering mobile support moving forward. And of course, we're going to keep improving whatever we have with the desktop version as well. And when it comes to the mobile sync, we are going to be including it as part of the Zoho Docs application that you have on these mobile devices.
All right, great. So we'd love to open this up to Q&A. And on your GoToWebinar, on the left-hand side, there's a small hand-looking icon. So if you click that, we'll know that you raised your hand, and we'll unmute you, and you can ask your question directly, or you can ask your questions directly through the chat box. And if you just joined in through the middle of our presentation, this is actually being recorded, and we'll make sure that this is available for you to review offline, and you can share this with any other members of your organization as well.
So we're going to include a few members from our Zoho Docs team. We have Satish T, who is one of our panelists. He is a product manager for Zoho Docs. We are unmuting him, so he'll be happy to answer any questions as well. We have another gentleman named Kingsley, who is the person who is the lead for the Zoho Docs for desktop sync. He's on the call as well. He's unmuted, and he'll be happy to answer any questions. And we have another person named Geeta, who is part of our Zoho Docs team as well as part of our marketing team, and she'll be happy to answer any questions as well. She'll be unmuted. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to post it on the questions chat bar, and we'll be happy to answer any of those. While we do that, we already have a few questions. Let me just read out a few, and we'll have them answered as well. One of the questions is, can docs be shared with edit access to customers without them becoming a Zoho user? The answer is yes, but the way you would share it is you would share it to their, let's say, Gmail or Yahoo or Facebook accounts, and they can come to Zoho and log in with their Gmail or Facebook or Yahoo accounts and access that document. So if you go to Zoho.com, you will notice an option where users can log into Zoho using the Zoho account, but there are alternative ways to log in as well, like with their Google account or Yahoo or Facebook accounts. So if you use any of those email addresses, and if that user comes in and logs into the Zoho account through those channels, then the user will be able to access those documents as well. So another question is, how can I send a doc via email address using the special email? You're saying you don't find that email. I'm not sure if that is available only for paid users. I'll let Satish confirm that. Satish, do we know if the
Yes.
email in feature is available only for paid users or if it's available for free users as well?
No, it is only available for paid user, premium edition.
Premium edition. So that is currently, yeah. Thanks, Satish. So that's currently the case. So I think we probably have to look into the option. If there is good interest from our customers, we'll be happy to extend that to other editions as well. And
sure, we'll evaluate it.
Yeah. Another question, if you download a document into one of the Microsoft Office formats, say Word, and make changes, will the sync work with this as well? And the answer to that is yes. As long as the document that you're editing using other editors is available in the Zoho Docs sync folder locally, all the changes that you make will be reflected. Basically, the method we use for sync is we check the last updated time of a document. If there is any document that is updated recently, that those updates are reflected across all desktops. That brings to an interesting thing where, what if you go offline and edit a document offline using an offline editor, and at the same time edit the same document, or maybe someone else edits the same document online using the Zoho editors? So the changes could be different in both. What happens in that case? There is a conflict there. In such cases, what we do is we let you make the decision. Instead of just trying to merge the content, because that's not possible, we try to save and preserve both versions, and we rename them accordingly. And we'll basically make sure that we maintain both versions, and you as a user can merge them. So we'll basically create two files, and we'll save them. And again, there is no user intervention here. We have Kingsley here who can add more to this if you have any specific questions. But the point here is the user need not make any changes. We'll automatically create two files in case of conflict, and we'll maintain those two files there. Another question is, someone's using Windows 7 Pro 32-bit. Do we support it? Kingsley, do we have any update on that?
Yes, Raju.
So we do support Windows 8 32-bit.
Yes, we do support Windows 8.
7.
Yes, we support from Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8 as well.
Windows 8 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Another question, when two people edit the same document, how is it managed? Assuming that you're talking about collaborative editing, because the collaborative editing happens in Zoho Docs, it is automatically managed by the Zoho Docs. So you can share your document with 5 different people, all could be editing the same document or a spreadsheet or a presentation at the same time. And Zoho Docs will take care of that because the applications do support collaborative editing. So all the changes are preserved, and it's always the latest version that is synchronized across all your devices. If someone keeps editing the document, the changes keep syncing across these devices as it goes on. Another question we have, can you mix rate plan types within one company? I'm not sure you can, but I'll let Satish answer that. Satish, can users pick, say, 2 users use a free edition and 3 users use a paid edition? Is that possible?
No, Raju, it is not possible as of now.
Okay, so that is something that is not.
We want to make, we want to give a full enterprise usability, so we are not allowing it.
Yeah, so that will kind of cause some interesting issues when it comes to document management. So I think everyone in the organization. Go ahead, Satish.
Yeah, in the organization, we want to give administrator as a full control. So keeping one as a free and others as a paid will not give a much flexibility to administrator. So we are not allowing it.
Yes, and there are going to be other interesting problems that will crop up. So for now, yeah, that is certainly not supported, and I don't believe that is part of our immediate roadmap as well.
What if there was 2 different types of paid users, one standard and one's premium? What happens in that scenario? Satish?
No, organization has no, it's not possible. Members, groups, or organization will have actually. Basically, we are projecting pricing for organization. So if we have 5 members, they have to purchase a premium or a standard. That's it.
Got it.
Another question we have is, will it be integrated with Office apps like Office 2 HD for iOS or UX Writer? The plan is to do that. We're going to open up some APIs, and we're going to work with some of the Office suites available out there. And you'll see some important changes from Zoho as well. If you have noticed or may not have noticed, Zoho recently launched a word processor on Android on your both smartphone and tablet. That is on Android, and you're going to see some integrations with these applications. And of course, as I mentioned, our mobile support is going to be good moving forward. So we are investing quite a lot on that front. So you'll see some changes. That said, that does not exclude us from supporting any third-party integrations, and we will be working with various applications. We don't have any currently, but the plan is to work with other vendors on this one. So another question is, if you forward an email with several attachments to your Zoho Docs email address, will it save them all? The answer is yes. So all the attachments that you have in the email will be saved onto your Zoho Docs account. Another question, how will Zoho Docs integration work with Pulse and group pages? That is something that we are working on. Currently, Zoho Docs web application is integrated with Zoho Pulse, but the sync functionality on all of that integration part is being worked on currently. we will provide additional details as we move forward and as we announce some integrations there. Another question, what are the plans for a most robust image and video viewing features? So Satish, can you expand a little bit on that? If the user has good number of images in Zoho Docs, or if he has some videos, can he directly view those images? An easy way to view those images or view those videos right within Zoho Docs without having to download them?
Yeah, we are working on it, and we do have planned to provide a nice preview of that. Currently, we have preview of images is supported, and for videos, we are working on it. Currently, HTML5 based videos are supported, and it can be viewable. And we are working on streaming of videos, and we don't have the timeline currently now, but we are sure we are working on this.
So yes, so there is some work on that front, so you'll see some changes on that as well.
Yeah.
Another question we have, what is the difference between users and collaborators? So can you expand on that a little bit, Satish?
Yeah, users is basically in an organization, user can add any members to their organization, like employees, colleagues, etc. So collaborators, what we mean here, if you have a document you are shared with a personal colleague or a member privately, and you can collaborate with the document, and we are calling as a collaborators.
So users is
So
basically the document.
Yeah.
Users is more on the Zoho Docs, the users of the Zoho document, but collaborators is at the document level, where you collaborate on a particular document. So you provide a read-write access to another person in your organization, and you can collaborate with them on that specific document. I think that's the core. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Another question, would you consider another pricing plan, the $2 range that aligns with Pulse, Mail, and all of that? Some people say $5 is too high. At this point, those are the three plans available, free, $5, and $8. We will certainly look into those options, $2 options, but I'm not sure if you have any immediate plans, but if there is enough demand from users, we'll certainly look into that. And another question is, will I be able to place a Zoho link to my Zoho Docs on a web page? So providing a direct link to your document from your web page. I believe it is possible today where you can choose a document, publish that document, and you will have a direct link to a particular document where you can directly download that document. I believe that is available currently in Zoho Docs. I think you can right-click on a document, and you'll probably choose the share option, and there you'll see multiple options, if I'm right. And Zoho Docs also has some nice features. One of my favorite is ability to upload the zip files, and after you upload them, you right-click on the zip file and just unzip it, and it'll automatically unzip all the contents of that. So that's another nice feature. So you can just share the zip file, or you can directly unzip some of these files right online. Another integrations, we have a question saying, I miss your old document integration with WordPress. Can I post to my company website, which is WordPress, from my Zoho Docs document? This is something that we have supported earlier, and we have noticed that not a lot of people use that feature, so I think we currently disable that. I'm not sure if you have any immediate plans to add such a feature, but that is something that we will have to look at. Again, if we get enough requests to add that feature, we certainly can include that. Another question we just got on the users, and can they directly open ZXL doc without entering the Zoho interface? Currently, there is no option to open the Z-sheet file without using the Zoho applications. It is the Zoho format that we use internally. And there are many reasons, because a web document is available, and web document has lots of information at the back end. Your document is saved in a flat file in a database and bunch of other locations, and it is being compiled and displayed to you using the Zoho Docs interface. And that's typically the case for many of the web formats or many of the web Office suite vendors. Even, for example, Google Drive has their own specific formats. If you try to open that application using Zoho editors or even third-party files, it's not possible. That is the nature of these web-based Office suites. And yes, that is not available currently. Another question got recently is, how can I use Zoho Docs for desktop sync as well as the Dropbox sync? And that's an interesting question. There are cases where some members within the company will be using Dropbox, some members may want to use Zoho Docs. I think theoretically, you certainly can make these work. If you notice, recently we launched Zoho Docs integration with Dropbox, which means you can use the Dropbox client and to sync your Zoho Docs files, be it desktops or the mobile devices. There are some restrictions, like subfolder sync may not work. There is going to be some delay. So there are going to be some limitations to that integration. But theoretically, you can use both Zoho Docs and Dropbox. The way you would do is you'll probably end up using the same folder as the root folder for both these applications. And you can use Dropbox sync capability with Zoho Docs for your mobile clients for now, and have the Zoho Docs work on the desktop. That again is probably the way to get it working. Theoretically, it is possible, but personally, I haven't tried it yet. So if you give it a try, please do let us know how it works, and we'll also give it a try at our end to see how that works as well. So those are the questions we have for now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask here. We'll be online for a few more minutes, but if you don't have any further questions, we would like to thank you all for joining us for the session. The session is being recorded, and we'll post it online on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Zoho. We'll be doing some of these webinars very frequently, as and when we add new features, and we have lots of exciting features coming. We'll be adding some new ones, and for those of you who are not familiar with some things new, you can follow that in our Zoho blogs. Just today, when we started this webinar, we launched a new product called Zoho Contact Manager. We'll be doing a webinar about that. That is next Thursday as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat bar. We have one more question. Need more clarification on what user capabilities are. If there are Z-sheet documents with VBA programming, does user have access to full capability of the program? So our Zoho Sheet does support good number of functions within the application, and it also supports Excel macros. And the question is from Sammy. I basically unmuted you, Sammy. So if you have any further things, we can discuss. But the idea here is, yes, Zoho Docs supports multiple functions, over 300 functions. So if you have those functions on your spreadsheet, it'll work fine. And we also support Excel macros. So these are VB macros. We may not support all the features in the VB macros, but all the commonly used functions in Visual Basic macros do execute fine in Zoho Sheet. If you have some advanced macros, they may not work, but that doesn't mean we are going to delete your macros. So let's say you have your spreadsheet with a macro. If you open that spreadsheet in Zoho Sheet, if the macro is supported, we'll execute that. If it's not, we are just going to retain that. We are not going to delete that, so that when you open the spreadsheet again in your Excel, the macros are retained. Hope that clarifies a little bit. And then as a follow-up, you're asking if there are macros and then there is a VBA code. Well, for now, it's the macros that are supported, and you can write the VBA code as well. We have a VBA editor right in our Zoho Sheet. You can certainly add your code and try to execute that in Zoho Sheet. If there are any specific functions that you want us to support, please feel free to send us an email, and we'll be happy to look into that. So those are the questions. Again, we're all online, so if you have any further questions, we'll be on for a few more minutes, and we'll stop the recording now, but we'll be online to answer any questions.
And we also have our email as well if you have any future questions. So you can email us at support@zohodocs.com.